Okay, so I got a couple of questions on a couple of the homework problems. So I'm not gonna do, they asked me for quite a few questions. Um, and I kind of forgot that Wednesday I had to cancel because I had to take my son to the doctor. So I'm just gonna kind of go a couple go over a couple of examples real quick. So um I think these are probably the main ones that are coming up, right? So probably you're gonna have to struggle with one of these four types. So first thing we want to do is we always want to get the factors, right? So right here, we want to break this up into two factors. So I want to think to myself, what two numbers, when I multiply them, give me 15, but when I add them up, give me -8, right? So -5 times a -3 gives me a +15. A -5 plus a -3 gives me a -8. So now this becomes 9x minus 35 over x minus 5 and x minus 3. And because I have two factors, I am now going to put a over x minus 5 plus b over x minus 3. Okay. Now, I don't need those parentheses, but it's okay. I'll still put them. So this is a 5. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to get rid of this fraction, right? So I don't want this. I'm going to multiply everything by x minus 5 times x minus 3. So I'm going to actually do it on this side. So x minus 5 and x minus 3. So I'm multiplying everything. So what's going to happen here is these are going to cancel out and just leaves me 9x minus 35. Right? So when I do this number, do this number, and do this number. So here, the x minus 5 cancel, and I'm going to be left with a times x minus 3. Here on the b side, the x minus 3 is cancel, so I'm going to be left with b times x minus 3. Okay. Oh, sorry. The x minus 3 is cancel, so I'm going to be left with x minus 5. Okay, there we go. Now, now I want to test two x solutions, right? The ones I want to test are x equals 5 and x equals to 3. Why are these two the ones I'm testing? Because when this is 0, that's what I want to test. Or when this is 0. Sorry, when this is 0. Or when this is 0. So if I plug in a 3 here, this becomes 0. If I plug in a 5 here, this becomes 0. And I want to do that because I want to eliminate one of the b's, right? So I'm going to be solving for either a or b. So right now I'm going to plug in 5. So I'm going to go 9 times 5 minus 35 equals to a times 5 minus 3 plus b times 5 minus 5. So right here, if you notice, this is going to become 0. So the b disappears. So I get 45 minus 35 equals to 5 minus 2 is 2. So I have 2a. So this becomes 810 equals to 2a, divide by 2, divide by 2. And now I have my a, which is 5. Okay. Now I'm going to do the similar process, but now with the 3, right? So I'm going to have 9 times 3 minus 35 equals to, well, if the b canceled here, the a is going to cancel here. So I'm going to have b times 3 minus 5. This becomes 27 minus 35, which equals to 2 times b. Okay. Now notice I didn't write the a because I already knew if I plug in 3 here, it's going to be 0. So because the first one canceled out the b, the second number is going to cancel out the a. All right. So that's just kind of me doing it, saving a little bit of time. So right here, I'm going to have -8 equals to -2b. divide by -2, divide by -2, and 4 equals b. So that means my partial decompose my partial fractional my partial fraction decompose oh my gosh, I can't say that. My fraction is going to be 5 over x minus 5 plus 4 over x minus 3. Okay, so that's going to be my decomposed, right? So this one's it's a they kind of already give you the factors, but it's works differently. So this square, notice it's on the outside, and that plays a big part into how we're gonna set this up. So because we are setting it up like this, we want to do 3x minus 14 um, over this, and it's going to be a over just the what's inside the parentheses, so x minus 4, and then b is going to be the entire thing, so squared. All right, that's just kind of the rule. And then we're doing the exact same process, right? So we're going to multiply everything by x minus 4 squared, right? So then we're going to be left with 3x minus 14, because when I go here, this one and this one cancel. When I go here, I'm going to cancel one of them, right? So I'm going to be left with a times x minus 4. Here, when I do it to the b, here's something that's interesting that happens. What happens is that I'm left with just b. Okay. So that is something that's very cool, right? So we're going to continue. So now we kind of want to solve this for 0, and we get x equals to 4, right? So we plug in 4. So we're going to get 3 times 4 minus 14 equals to 4 minus 4, and that gives us the b. This is going to cancel. This is 12 minus 14 equals b, and this equals to -2. So now we know what our b is, right? So what we're going to do now is, okay, so now that we have b, and what we're going to do is we're going to solve for a. So what we're going to do now is, since now that we know the other letter, we can plug it in. -2. Okay. So if it's -2, right, because b is -2, let's solve for a. So we add 2 to both sides. We get 3x minus 12 equals to a over x minus 4. And now here's where it gets kind of cool. Check it out. If I was to divide x minus 4 to both sides, you would think, well, can you even do that? Yes, you can. Check it out. So this, I could see that they have a common number in them. So they have a 3. If I take out a 3 from 3x, I'm left with x. If I take out a 3 from the 12, like I factor out a 3, I'm left with 4. And 4 on the bottom. Guess what? Bam, they cancel. So now I'm left with a equals to 3, b equals to -2. So now my partial fraction decomposition is 3 over x minus 4 plus -2 over x minus 4 squared. Okay. Okay. So I'm thinking I'm not leaving myself enough room. So I'm gonna kind of delete this one. This one's very similar. Well, let me see if I could just kind of move it to the side. Uh, yeah. All right. So now this one. This one's gonna be a little bit more complex because we have a lot more numbers, but it's okay. No big deal. Notice we have a square. So now we're gonna be dealing with more than one variable. right? I mean, more than two variables, right? So we're going to write it. You know what? I'm just going to do it right here. Okay. So right here. So then we know that we're going to have a over x plus 3, right? Similar to what we did here. And then we're going to have b over x plus 3 squared, just like how we did it over here. But now we have this third, kind of like a third factor. So we're going to put plus c over 3x 4. Okay. And we're going to do the exact same process. We're going to multiply all of this bottom to everything. So hopefully by now you kind of pick up the fact that this is just going to cancel out, right? Leaving us top. And here we're going to have one big. This one's actually going to be pretty huge. So we're going to have x plus 3 is going to cancel out one of them, but I'm still going to have 1. And then I still have this 3x 4 plus b. The b, this is a square, so this one cancels out with this one. So I'm just going to have b and this. 3x 4. And then c, this part's going to cancel out with this one, so leaving us with c times x plus 3 squared. So it's just kind of like a combination type of deal. Okay. So now, what are our x's? We know one of our x's is going to be 3, -3, sorry. Right? So, because that's going to make this 0. Okay. And then the other x is, if I solve this for 0, I get -4 thirds. -4 thirds. Okay. So, um, we're going to use these. So I'm going to first do -3, right? I plug in -3. If I plug in -3 here, this becomes a 0. So this entire thing becomes a 0. If I plug in a -3 here, this becomes a 0. So by plugging in -3, the A cancels and the C cancels, leaving me just the B that I have to worry about. Okay. That's why I'm not going to spend time writing it, because right here, this becomes 0. So 0 times any of this is 0 times any of this is 0. -3 plus 3 is 0. So 0 squared is 0. 0 times anything is 0. So I only have to worry about this part right here. Okay. So we have -2 times 9 minus 21 plus 24 equals to -9 plus 4, which is -5b. Okay. This becomes -18 minus 21 plus 24. This becomes negative. Okay, so this is -18 plus 3, 5. So this becomes -15. So what does b equal? B is going to equal to 3. Okay, so we have our first notation. I'm actually gonna just delete it, and I'm already gonna put it over here. So I already know that b is 3, which is gonna kind of help us, right? Um, in the future, right? So now, okay, now I'm gonna plug this in, right? I'm gonna plug this in. Well, if I plug this in here and here, I know for a fact that's going to make them 0, because we just talked about this. This, to make that 0, you move the 4, divide by 3. So automatically this is 0. So that means this is going to, so 0 times anything is 0 times a is 0. I mean, all this is going to be 0. So this is going to cancel. This b is going to cancel. So I'm just going to be left with c. So I'm not going to write it. So I'm just going to have -4 thirds squared plus 7 times -4 thirds plus 24 equals to c times 4 thirds, -4 thirds plus 3 squared. Okay. And here I'm going to solve for C. Okay. Now, what do we do after that? Okay. So after we do this, we we have to do some math. Okay? So I'm just gonna put this in the calculator real quick, so that I could just do one big step. Plus 7, -4 over 3 plus 24. So I get 11.11, or also known as 100 over 9. Okay. And then I'm going to do -4 divided by 3 squared. And I get C, whoa. And then I'm going to get 25 over 9 times C, right? So here, step by step, I could multiply to 9 to both sides, leaving me 125C. I divide by 25, divide by 25, 40. Now I know my C. Bada boom, bada bing. So my B was 3, my C was 4. So how do I find my A? Like what is the process of finding my A? Well, it's not that big of a deal, right? So if we know this is 3 and we know this is 4, we could solve for A just like how we did here. So notice I plugged in B right here, right? After I found B, I plugged it in right here, and then I just solved for A. I'm going to do the exact same thing here, okay? I am going to solve for A by inputting what I know. So, all right, so I'm going to solve for A, right? So I already know a couple of things, right? I know my B and I know my C. So kind of like what I did in the previous problem where I plugged in my B right here, like on this one, I plugged in B here and I solved for A. I'm kind of doing the same thing here. So my B is 3. So that's going to be times 3x plus 4. And then my C is 4, right? So it's 4. But remember, this is x plus 3 squared. So I have to do some stuff here. So right here, I'm just going to work this real quick. So this becomes 9x plus 12. I have to expand this out before I can multiply it, which is x squared plus 6x plus 9. And now I have to multiply this, right? I get 9x plus 12 plus 4x squared plus 24x plus 36. So I can combine these, right? So I'm going to have 4x squared plus 33x plus 48. Okay, so I know this looks like a big jumble, but that's all of this right here. So now I'm going to bring all of this to this side. So it's going to become a minus 4x squared, a minus 33x, and a minus 48. Okay, so this becomes negative 6x squared. This becomes negative 26x. Yeah. This becomes negative 48. And we get all of this. Okay, we're almost done. We're not out of the woodwork yet. But now all we have to do is divide this, well, all of this actually, by this, and we're gonna get our A. Now A is by itself. Now we have to figure out how can we simplify this. So we need to actually factor this. So if we kind of see what they have in common, right? What I'm gonna do is I don't know why, but let me see what this equals, right? So I'm gonna go x plus 3. I'm gonna kind of do it off to the side. 3x plus 4. I'm going to just kind of multiple, do the little moon method as they call it, right? So this becomes 3x squared. This becomes 4x plus 9x plus 12, which is 3x squared plus 13x plus 12. Now, check this out. I want you guys kind of look at something. App, and then look at this. What do you notice? Okay, what do you notice? Oh, wait, this is not 48. I'm sorry. This is not 48. Sorry. That's actually 24. 24 plus, sorry, 24 minus 48 is negative 24. Okay. So if you kind of see this, you can kind of already see that um, two of these are going to go in this, right? Because 2 times 3 gives us 6, 2 times 13 gives us 26, 2 times 12 gives us 24. So it's kind of like that long division that we kind of did a while back, right? Wait, did we do long division? Yeah, I think we did do long division in this class. Um, or if you didn't, you probably did it in college algebra, right? So this can be divided into this, and it goes into it actually negative, right? And then that's your A, negative 2. So come over here and we put negative 2. Man, that was a long one. That was a long one, but that was a good one. It's probably the hardest one. Okay. I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna bring this down though. Over here. Okay. So this one, notice the exponent is not on the outside. So they kind of just kind of give it to you so you could kind of just put it in a over x squared plus b over x squared plus 7. So here you don't have to do like this little process where you break it down. Where is it? Right here. Into 2, x plus 3, and then x plus 3 squared. Because the square is not on the outside. It's actually on the inside. So like see how the square was on the outside? It's actually on the inside. Right. So when that happens, they're already telling me they're back. Right? So we kind of already know that we're going to multiply all of it by this bottom, leaving us a times x squared plus 7 plus b times x squared, right? Our two x's in this situation are one's going to be 0, right? So x will equal 0. And then the other one is kind of tough because we're going to take the square root of 7, right? So what am I doing here? Is I'm setting this equal to 7. Actually, sorry, negative 7, right? So we move the 7 over. Okay, we take the square root. Okay, so we're gonna have kind of like imaginary numbers. That's totally fine. Okay. All right, so let's first do this easy one, right? Just x equals 0. All right, so if I plug in 0 here, this just becomes 0, right? I don't have to write it. 0 plus 7 is just 7. So 7 times a, and this becomes divided by 7, 4 over 7 equals a. So we already know our a, which would be 4 over 7. Okay. Now, and I'll simplify this in a little bit. So just keep a cool head right now. Um, now let's go back into this one. So let's do the square root of 7, right? So then we're gonna have 4 equals a times the square root of negative 7 squared plus 7 plus b times the square root of negative 7. So the square roots cancel. So that leaves us negative 7, 7. So this just becomes 0 right here. This cancels. So now we have 4 equals to negative 7 times b. 7 divided by negative 7, right? This becomes 4 over negative 7 equals b. So we get a similar answer, but we have this problem. We have a fraction over a fraction. Okay, so I believe I'm kind of big on this keep change flip idea, right? So I'm just gonna kind of write it over here. Okay, what you could do is you can keep this, you change division, right? You change this, and you flip that the bottom one. So it's x squared, so it's gonna be 1 over x squared. Then the next one is gonna be the same thing. We keep the top, we change the middle fraction to a times, and then we put the bottom under 1. Okay, so then this becomes 4 over 7x squared. This becomes 4 over negative 7 times x squared plus 7. And that would be your fraction. Hope this helps. Let me know how it goes.